All right, so that's a good question. Doug asked a question about up north fishing. So like Manistee, Frankfurt, we'll throw Ludington in there. And after the morning bite, so you have your morning bite maybe 6 to 8 o'clock. What's your like next move? Where are you going to go to try to continue to catch fish, or where would you go to continue to look for those larger fish?
Um, Manistee happens to be my favorite port. Spent a lot of time there. I typically, when I'm up there fishing, I am fishing structure. Spent a lot of time down towards Gurney Creek, Big Point. Sometimes we go north, but we typically are more straight out or south. And after that first flurry of bites, if I'm confident, again, confidence, that fish are there, and they don't move really far. I mean, especially up there where the structure, it gets deep so fast. It might only be a quarter mile, half a mile further out. I'll swing out there, but then I'll lower the baits in the water column. I think you have a better chance of getting a bite mid-morning and the lower in the water column. And those marks you're seeing are 30, 40, 50 feet down. I think you're going to find you'll probably get more bites if you're targeting more of that next 30 feet below them. That seems to work for me.
One year we won the 333 out of Manistee, and we won it fishing the barrel. And we were the only boat in it, and it was like fishing on a football field. You got down on one end and turn around and come back, sharp turns back and forth, and the big kings were just laying in there. And there was no pressure on them. There was no one around. And that's what helped us. Deep.
I think that's the time when your electronics shine. I'm once that morning flurry happens, I'm really looking at my electronics harder, trying to figure out what am I seeing, where did they go? Did they slide up on the top of the shelf? Did they slide down slide off the backside of the shelf? Or are they still in the same water column and they're just laying on bottom? So, we have a really awesome Garmin package and a very high-end transducer. And so I feel like having that target differentiation, target separation on the transducer from the bottom helps me figure that piece out a little bit. So I'm really trusting the electronics. And my typical move would be to slide out first. I usually don't slide, especially like fishing Ludington. Sliding up on top can be a disaster. So, oftentimes you slide out, and it isn't very far, like Matt said. I mean, it might be only a quarter mile, half mile off. But I've got one rod right on the deck. I've got one rod that literally I take that cannonball with like an 11-inch, like a big paddle or something like this. I usually run bigger stuff that time of the morning, and I'll put that deepest downrigger down. I'll let it hit bottom once, and then just leave it there. And it doesn't drag bottom if you only let it hit once. It hits bottom and then floats up a little bit, and I leave it right on the deck. And there's a good chance I might not take that thing off the deck the rest of the day. I might run a bait right there all day long, because I do think that the big kings will often, after that flurry of bites in the morning, they go out and lay on bottom, or they go out and they really sit close to bottom. So I think we're all saying the same thing, that we're moving baits down in the water column. We're trying to get those fish that are just kind of being lazy and laying in that colder water, because I think they've eaten, their metabolism's burning, and that water on bottom tight to the deck is usually the coldest. And so I think they just go down and lay in the cold, high oxygen water, and then they wait to go eat again.
Yep.
So, I think that definitely has helped us pull a handful more fish after the morning bite happens.
I think the electronics thing, the Panoptix has changed the way that I fish. I didn't really think that it would, and it really has. And the reason I say that is if I'm driving down a drop off and I have fish coming in and out of my spread, which you do, right? You're driving and you're seeing them. They appear in your screen. Well, with Panoptix, I know if they came from on the top of the drop off or from the bottom, and if they're coming from deeper water than where my baits are, or from shallower water, and I'll make adjustments according to how I see those fish swim in. And it's kind of the information that I get from Panoptix is not what I expected to get originally, but it's definitely given me confidence to, if I see fish coming from up top, I'll go up there. Mm-hmm. And normally I'll never go up there. In Ludington, if you go up there, you're stuck up there and you never get out. and it's
You want to explain that because of the boat traffic?
Yeah, so boat traffic, like I know you guys down here, you complain about boat traffic when there's like someone a half mile away, but I literally can walk a half mile and never get in the water. So I mean, it's busy, and everybody's following these drop offs. So if you decide to get up on top of that ledge where it's like 60 foot, you might have to go 3 miles before you can turn to get off of it,
Or
because
pull
there's
lines,
that many boats
pull
next to
lines
it, or
and
pull
run out.
lines and run back.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is just like, you know, that's what we do every day. So it's normal for me. I come down to you know, Grand Haven and South Haven and all these tournaments, or last year St. Joe, and then I'm like, man,
So much
this is
room.
nice. You know, it's not even busy.
Yeah, it's like mud fishing with 450 coppers.
Yeah.
That's what, that's how I say it. It's like you got boats like you would be fishing the river mouth, but everyone's running 450 coppers.
And it's, you know, and you know, the guy next to you you can just watch. I mean, we drove with a guy inside us. We just watched him catch fish for, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour. We were just tell Jeremy every time, hey, he's got another one on, Jeremy.
I think we were actually telling him when he was getting.
Oh, we did tell him once. We were close enough that we're just, hey, you got one on your out and down, and yeah, he got it. That was nice. We watched him scoop it, nice fish. Well, we didn't catch anything, but you know, just a couple feet of differences can make all that difference. So if you get stuck in that shallow water, sometimes you're just in bad water for a long period.